Who is this actually good for, who should skip it, and is it worth the price for the everyday buyer? If you're still on the fence, you're not alone. This kind of equipment can feel like a huge commitment. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first started looking at a Smith machine for my home gym, the biggest worry was ending up with a piece that either took up too much space or didn't actually let me lift the weight I needed safely. I've read a ton of forum threads where people complain about wobbling rigs, awkward plate storage, or a bar path that feels too restrictive for a natural squat. That risk of buying the wrong thing is why I spent extra time digging into how the XMARK machine is built and what real users say about daily use. Smith machines occupy a unique niche in strength training gear. They give you a guided bar path, which can be a lifesaver for lifters who don't have a spotter, but they also lock you into a fixed range of motion that some athletes find limiting. In a typical home setting, you're balancing three things: floor space, budget, and the variety of lifts you want to perform. Commercial gyms can afford a dedicated area for a free weight zone, but a home gym often has to be a honest-stop shop, which is why the storage solution and footprint of a Smith machine matter as much as the steel it's made from. The XMARK Smith machine tries to address those concerns with a few design choices that stand out. First, the frame is stainless steel, so you won't be fighting rust in a humid basement. The uprights are angled at 7 degrees rather than being perfectly vertical, which the manufacturer claims improves stability during heavy pulls. A linear bearing system runs the bar up and down, giving a smoother glide than the older fixed rails you see on budget models. And tucked into the base is a dedicated rack for a 7-foot barbell and weight plates, which means you don't have to find extra floor space for a separate plate tree. The self-spotting feature is the headline grabber for many buyers. Because the bar is locked to the rails, you can load up for a heavy squat or deadlift without needing a partner to stand behind you. In practice, I've seen people use it for max effort work on a Friday night when the house is empty, and the bar simply stops at the end of the rail if you can't complete the lift. That safety net can be a real confidence booster for lifters who are still perfecting their form or who simply prefer to train alone. Stability is another practical strength. The angled uprights push the weight of the bar and plates down into the base rather than outwards, which reduces the amount of wobble you feel when you're loading the bar for a 300-pound squat. In a real-world garage gym, that means you can set the machine against a wall or even leave it freestanding without constantly checking for tipping. Users who have tried cheaper rigs often report a rocking sensation when they rack the bar, but the XMARK's enhanced stability seems to keep the movement solid. Plate storage is more than a convenience, it's a space-saving solution. The integrated plate rack holds up to 300 pounds of plates, keeping them off the floor and out of the way of your workout flow. I've watched a couple of home gym owners load and unload plates directly from that rack in under a minute, which cuts down on the downtime between sets. For anyone who has a limited floor area, that built-in organization can be the difference between a cluttered corner and a functional workout zone. The 7 angled uprights also affect how the machine fits into a room. Because the uprights lean slightly inward, the overall width of the footprint is a touch narrower than a perfectly vertical design of the same height. In a typical 1,012-foot basement, that extra few inches can free up space for a bench or a cardio machine. It's a subtle trade-off, but it's noticeable when you're trying to arrange a complete gym layout. The linear bearing system gives the bar a smoother ride compared with the older bushings you find on budget Smith machines. In real use, that means less grinding noise when you rack and unrack, and the bar feels more responsive during a quick drop set. It's a detail that doesn't make headlines, but for anyone who's done a lot of high-rep work, the smoother glide reduces fatigue in the wrists and shoulders. No piece of equipment is without drawbacks, and the XMARK is no exception. Because the bar is constrained to the rails, the natural bar path you get on a free barbell, especially during a deep squat or a hip thrust, can feel slightly altered. Some lifters notice that their knees track a bit differently.